So this Thursday, we will continue the study on free will that we started last week on Bible reasoning. This Thursday at 7 p.m. Central. And a lot of people found that engaging and even wanted a part two. And so that's good. We can make it more in depth when we have like a series. And so this is kind of a promo, but just a few thoughts off the top of my head. Because today I saw a video by one individual who denies free will. And he's talked about before how everything in life is scripted. Just like an author writes a novel. Everything is scripted. And Calvinists, of course, this guy wasn't a Calvinist, but Calvinists, of course, believe really the same thing. They may not use that language, but eternally decreed. If that is the case, there is no rationality to your position. If you do not believe in free will, then you really get into an irrational position. The most important discussion you can have on this is the discussion out of the Bible. What does the Bible teach? But of course, we come to the Bible having to process rationally what we read and putting these thoughts together that the Bible teaches. But you start off, if you deny free will like this guy does, saying everything is scripted, you start off with irrationality, and you've got no way to justify the validity of your position. Because if everything is scripted and you believe that, so let's say this, if you believe that what you believe is correct, but you believe everything is scripted, that means you believe those things are true because you were scripted to believe it. If that's the case, you've got no way to rationalize the validity of your belief. Because you were scripted to believe it, you could be scripted to believe something which is actually false and believe that it is true. If everything is scripted. I could write a novel and write where the character believes 2 + 2 = 5. And I could have him fully convinced that that's the case, trying to explain these things to other people. But of course he's wrong. But since I've scripted him, he doesn't know that he's wrong. So to say free will doesn't exist, and this guy, he makes no bones about it, everything is scripted, well, then you can't validate your own belief. Because you were scripted to believe it. If you believe it because you were scripted to believe it, you could just as easily have been scripted by the author to believe something that is false. And the moment such a person would resort back to the Bible and say, well, I read it in the Bible. Yeah, but you could have just as well have been scripted to misunderstand the Bible and to believe a lie that the Bible doesn't actually teach, but you believe it does. So if you deny free will, then you just lose that. You start off with irrationality. And then furthermore, they criticize people for what they believe those people had no free choice but to believe. And a lot of people, when you say, well, you can't put human reasoning over the Bible. Well, first of all, I'm not. Secondly, the idea that you shouldn't put human reasoning over the Bible itself is a conclusion from human reasoning. You can't escape that. You can't process the Bible but through human reasoning and logic and rationality. Now people do have free will and can be wrong. But a lot of people correct their mistakes in time when they have discussions and see through reading and choosing to believe it because they say, you know what, I was wrong on this. But the reality is, if you believe you don't have free will, then you've got no way to rationalize your position. It is impossible. Nevertheless, those are just some of the thoughts that I had. But this program will continue the topic, will continue the study, so I hope you guys will be there, and I'll see you there.